So I recently did a video where I explained why I started my business, why I decided to focus on cybersecurity, give cyber tips, and to like teach people about how they can protect themselves and to teach them also about the different cyber threats that exist. So in my pursuit to helping other people, it didn't just come about just like that because cybersecurity is hot on the market and everybody's talking about getting a job in cybersecurity so that you can make six figures. That was not my objective. If you check the video that I previously published, it was because I was a victim of a scam on social media, and there were so many other cases where I was like this close to being scammed by someone. I remember when I was living in Mexico, I got a call. I was working from home. It was during the pandemic, I will never forget. And I was working from home. This was the first time I received like a call from my bank. They've never called me before. And I received a call saying that, oh, there's this payment that was blocked by the bank on my credit card. So they blocked it because they wanted to know if it was really me making that purchase. So I'm like, no, 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 I didn't use my card and anything, and blah 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 blah. So this lady is like talking to me, and she's like, okay, we won't authorize the payment, but I need you to confirm some information so that we can block the payment and let the like the bank will do something so that they can return that money to my account. Some bullshit like that. It's the thing is that when they call you and they're creating this level of urgency and they're talking a lot of rubbish, it's like you get so confused. You don't even know what they're talking about, and you don't even know really how to think clearly. And I'm like, yes, 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 block it. And she's like, okay, what I need from you is to confirm your credit card number. I see here that the ending is blah, 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 blah. So when they told me the correct ending, I'm like, well, it has to be true because nobody taught me about cybersecurity or how to be cyber safe. Like, I didn't know these things. And that's why I imagine that there's so many other people out there who have no idea about, like, how to protect themselves. So back to the story. So I'm like, yes. So I confirm the rest of my credit card information. And then she's like, oh, could you confirm the expiration date? I gave them the expiration date also. And then I was about to give them, the CVV, the number, the security code. And my husband came over me and he's like, what is going on? What are they asking about? And I, like interrupted the call and I'm explaining to my husband. And he's like, hang up the call. And I hung up. I was about to give them my I was about to give them the 3 digit on my credit card. So just imagine the problem that I would have gotten myself into. So I left what I was doing and I go straight to the bank and I said, I received a call saying that there was a charge on my credit card, and they asked me like a lot of information. I was about to give them my security code, and the girl looked at me like that, like, lady, are you stupid? Like, really, her face, I will never forget her face. It's like, really? And she came closer to me and she's like, miss, we don't call people. The bank will never call you to say that there's a charge on your credit card and blah, 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 blah. Unless it's like an extreme amount or something like that. But we don't call people for that. And I'm like, really, you don't? Because this was my first call. So I was this close also of being a victim of scam. So this is why it's so important. And I know I explain a lot about this on my page, which basically nobody sees, but more and more I'm seeing people who have become victim of scam, of different cyber attacks, and then they don't get the help that they need because by the time you file a report, by the time the bureaucracy your filing reaches these people, like there's so many damages that have already been done, and you won't get back your money and they won't solve your situation. So that's why it's very important that you educate yourself. And I remember also in the previous video I spoke about shopping on a particular website. I was about to put my information because when I just arrived to Canada, I wanted to buy a lot of winter clothing. And like every time I'm browsing through Facebook, even my husband as well, we would see websites where they were offering like really good sweaters, winter sweaters for really cheap pricing. So I'm like, wow, well, let me take advantage of this. These were actually scam websites. So what I did is that I started to research, and then I realized that There is nothing that tells you if a website is trustworthy or not. There's nothing that separates a legitimate website from a scamming website. So, how do we do that? And then this is why I got so intrigued about trust badges. Like, trust badges is the future of e commerce because this is the only way that you'll be able to quickly identify which website is legitimate and which website is not. Because the thing is, the scamming websites, you notice they don't have an SSL certificate because they cannot obtain an SSL certificate because they have to be legitimate. They have to undergo a series of processes and all these things that they cannot do. So most likely we'll see a scam website that only says HTTP. It doesn't have an S because it doesn't have an SSL certificate. They cannot obtain it. However, let's say in some cases they have an SSL certificate. How do you distinguish that this website is not a scam? Using trust badges. So that's why, in my quest to making our digital landscape a safer environment for shoppers, because we're all, well, I won't say all, but I used to be a compulsive shopper, so I wouldn't verify to see if the site is secure or not. If I wanted something and I could afford it, I'm going to buy it, and then I would become a victim of fraud and they would steal all my money. So we have people like that till today who might experience these things because they just like to shop. It's not their fault that they like to shop, and they shouldn't suffer just because they like to buy things that they like. You know what I mean? So this is why it's important for like websites to be able to distinguish who they are. And the best way to do that is through a trust badge. Normally, like, to be honest, this business quest is one of the most challenging and difficult because this has not been done in over 112 years. So you might have heard about the BBB, but this is more, how could I say, it is more recognized by the elderly population. So the younger people have no idea what the BBB is. And I mean, they know, they have been doing business for years, they know what they're doing, but I think we need a third party endorsement trust badge for the younger generation that they can identify themselves with. And that's what we hope to achieve with Factotum's verified trust badge.